finally tonight, as promised, a special comment on Senator John McCain's conclusion that it's not too important when American forces come home from Iraq. Thoughts offered more in sorrow than in anger. For 2 full days now, the senator and his supporters have been outraged at what they see as the subtraction of context from this extraordinary remark. This is, sadly, the excuse of our time for everything. Still, if the senator claims truncation, we will correct that first. A lot of people, Matt Lauer began, now say the surge is working. Anybody who knows the facts on the ground say that, the senator interjected. If it's now working, Senator, Matt continued, do you now have a better estimate of when American forces can come home from Iraq? No, answered McCain. But that's not too important. What's important is the casualties in Iraq. Americans are in South Korea. Americans are in Japan. American troops are in Germany. That's all fine. American casualties and the ability to withdraw, we will be able to withdraw. General Petraeus is going to tell us in July when he thinks we are. But the key to it is we don't want any more Americans in harm's way. And that way they will be safe and serve our country and come home with honor and victory, not in defeat, which is what Senator Obama's proposal would have done. And I'm proud of them, and they're doing a great job, and we are succeeding. And it's fascinating that Senator Obama still doesn't realize it. And there is the context of what Senator McCain said. Well, not quite, Senator. The full context is that the Iraq you see is a figment of your imagination. This is not a war about honor and victory, sir. This is a war you and the president you support and seek to succeed conned this nation into. Yes, sir, you. Of the prospect of war in Iraq, you said, quote, I believe that success will be fairly easy. John McCain, September 24th, 2002. I believe that we can win an overwhelming victory in a very short period of time. John McCain, September 29th, 2002. Of the ouster of Saddam and the Baathists, there's no doubt in my mind that once these people are gone, that we will be welcomed as liberators. John McCain, March 24th, 2003. Asked about a long-term commitment in Iraq, quote, are you talking about something in terms of South Korea, for instance, where you would expect U.S. troops to be in Iraq for decades? No, you answered. I don't think decades, but I think years. A little straight talk, I think years. And I hope that we can gradually reduce that presence. John McCain, March 18th, 2004. You were asked about the troops and the future. I would hope that we could bring them all home. I would hope that we would probably leave some military advisors, as we have in other countries, to help them with their training and equipment and that kind of stuff. I think one of our big problems has been the fact that many Iraqis resent American military presence. And I don't pretend to know exactly Iraqi public opinion, but as soon as we can reduce our visibility as much as possible, the better I think it's going to be. John McCain, January 31st, 2005. When a speaker at your town hall 5 months ago referenced the president's forecast that we might stay in Iraq for 50 years, you cut him off. Make it 100. We've been in Japan for 60 years. We've been in South Korea 50 years or so. That would be fine with me. As long as Americans are not being injured or harmed or wounded or killed, that's fine by me. John McCain, January 3rd, 2008. And your forecast of your hypothetical first term, sir. By January 2013, America has welcomed home most of the servicemen and women who have sacrificed terribly so that America might be secure in her freedom. The Iraq War has been won. John McCain, May 15th, 2008. That, Senator McCain, is context. You have attested to a fairly easy success, an overwhelming victory in a very short period of time in which we would be welcomed as liberators, which you assured us would not require our troops stay for decades but merely for years, from which we could bring them all home, since you noted many Iraqis resent American military presence, in which all those troops coming home will also be staying there, not being injured for 100 years, but most will be back by 2013, and the timing of the return of them is not that important. That, Senator McCain, is context. And that, Senator McCain, is madness. The Government Accountability Office just released a study Tuesday that concludes that 1 out of every 10 soldiers sent to Iraq takes with them medical problems severe enough to significantly limit their ability to fight. In 5 years, we have now sent 43,000 of them to war, even though they were already wounded. And when they come home is not that important. Jalal al-Din al-Sagir is a member of the Islamic Supreme Council of Iraq. Ali al-Adib is a member of the rival Dawa political party. They gave a series of interviews last week about the particulars of this country's demand for a status of forces agreement with Iraq, a treaty which Mr. Bush does not intend to show Congress before he signs it. The Iraqi politicians say the treaty demands Iraq's consent to the establishment of nearly double the number of U.S. military bases in Iraq, from about 30 to 58, and from temporary to permanent. Those will be American men and women who must of necessity staff these bases. Staff them in Mr. McCain's M.C. Escher dream world, in which our people can all come home while they stay there for 100 years, but they'll be back by 2013. And when they come home is not that important. Last year, a 20-year-old soldier from the Bronx, on the day of his redeployment to a second tour in Iraq, said he just couldn't face the smell of burning flesh again. So Jonathan Aponte paid a hitman $500 to shoot him in the leg. Mount Sinai Hospital in New York reported treating a patient identifying himself as another Iraq-bound soldier who claimed he'd accidentally swallowed a pen at the bus station. Nobody doubted his story until examinations proved there was a second pen in his stomach bearing the logo of Greyhound bus lines.